Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So welcome to the new trading week. Happy Monday, everybody. I'm Dan from Trading with Dan. This is our Bitcoin morning update, so we will go straight over to those Bitcoin charts. So yeah, pretty much just just a game of levels here, really, in Bitcoin. We lost this level here, which basically I've been saying would trigger a move down, probably down to this level. But we would probably get some bounces, obviously, at these interim levels, which is basically exactly what happened. We had our pretty much our breakdown, so our forward check, our back check, and then our pay check. So pretty standard maneuver there. I mean, if I look on a smaller time frame, you can probably see it better. Yeah, basically here, look, we broke below, came back and back tested it, and then basically got rejected down to the next level. So that is what I mean by forward check, back check, pay check. Because basically what happens is you get the initial breakdown, price then comes back up, or down, depending whether we're breaking down or up, and then obviously the big players, they then come in at the back test, because that's when they can get their fills. They can't necessarily get all their fills when we initially break out, just because of the low volume and everyone jumping in. So they wait for those FOMO sellers and people to come back. Some people start to think, oh, we're going back up to buy whatever, and then they sell into all that, able to fill a lot of their position, and then keep selling, and yeah, and that's basically what happens with that. But anyway, over to 4 hour again. So yeah, you can see all we did was we closed the 4 hour candle below our level, which then triggered the move to the downside, and that's basically what's happened. We got to our main level, which is here. We have obviously got this target down here as well, so obviously hitting that target will pretty much depend on whether we can close a 4 hour below 33,000, in which case then 30,000 becomes the next target. But that is not currently what is happening. What is actually happening at the moment, though, we are back testing this level, this interim level, the midpoint of this range. So obviously there is a possibility that we could then get rejected from here and continue our way down, basically. So that is what we are keeping an eye on here. But if we do break back above the midpoint of this range here, then yeah, we can pretty much expect continuation to the well, basically back to the upside. Potentially break through this level and then continue on up. If not, we could just find ourselves back up here, trading within this sideways range, which would be quite healthy for Bitcoin, I think, consolidating at a high, even though it's within a wide range. Basically trading between around 33k and around well, 39k. We could obviously spend time trading the top half of the range, drop to the bottom half. I mean, that could happen, very likely. But yeah, I mean, we are pretty much at a decision point. I mean, you can even, if you squint, you can see the sort of trend line that we're holding at the moment relatively. If we hold this level and we make our way back up, then we will pretty much just be business as usual. If we lose this level, if we do come down to 30, if we come back and bounce and back test around this mid 30s and then start to come back down, we will have, may I present to you, our head and shoulders that I was basically talking about was a potential reversal scenario in yesterday's video. We could have that play out. So that would mean 30k would be a basically the neckline, and then we would be looking at a potential, I know it's a bit wonky, we'd be looking basically at a potential move down to 20k. There you go, and there you have it. So let's have a look at just how much that would be as a pullback, bearing in mind, is this on? Let me just see. Yep. And down to 20k, 50% retracement. You gotta love the potential 50% retracement. Let me tell you now. Obviously, you guys know targets will usually get either undershot or overshot. And obviously, lots of people are thinking. I mean, I was told by some people, some obviously FOMO moon boys that popped up in my chat, that we're not going to have a 20% retracement for 6 months, and we literally had one the next day. So we are currently sat on our oh, there we have it, our second one within about a week of obviously our last one. So, and bear in mind, we're not getting one of these for 6 months. We've had 2 now within like a week. Yeah, I mean, anyway, so basically what I'm saying about undershooting and overshooting targets is that a 40% retrace is the usual target, what I've been talking about. So could we get to 40% and overshoot, and get to 50% and get to 20k? We certainly can. And what an absolute travesty that will be for a lot of people in the Bitcoin space. They will definitely lose hope. So don't rule that out, guys. Do not rule that out, guys, because we could potentially form the head and shoulders. We would have a projected target of 20k. We could very easily break that neckline, hit 20k, wipe out all those FOMO buyers that have been buying all this way up, and just be business as usual, literally in textbook Bitcoin fashion, only with it being a 50% rather than the usual 40% retracement. No problems, no dramas there, guys. So yeah, obviously that doesn't have to happen. We can be holding this level, breaking on upwards and continuing on upwards. So that is obviously obviously the opposite scenario. Back to our Ethereum, my beloved Ethereum Bitcoin chart. I wanted to see this break onwards and upwards, but hey, we didn't. And all we really did, we tested the top level, and then we started to come down to try and basically test the bottom level, but we didn't get all the way down and found ourselves above this level again. So yeah, I mean, sideways trading within a range at this higher level is fine, is constructive for me. Like I said, we are in the level range. We don't want to break below here, otherwise we will look bearish, and breaking above here will look bullish. So we're currently mid-range now, and as you can see, we are respecting these levels nicely. So that is good to see. And Ethereum USD obviously had a pullback with Bitcoin. Clearly just going to have a sympathetic pullback along with Bitcoin. So yeah, not too bad, but clearly still looking good, holding at well above 1100. So that is that's still fine. That's still all looking good. In reality, Bitcoin dominance as well had a bit of a bounce, but have we got a head and shoulders here? What would our head and shoulders target be? It would be our trend line. So it would be our long-term trend line. So if we zoom out and just have a look at that trend line, yeah, we could be in for that. I mean, just ignore this wick. We could be in for this back test basically. So we've got a large descending wedge with a target. And to be honest, I think we probably hit this target. Actually, no, we didn't. Yeah. So basically, we could have had the breakout, and then we get the back test, and then we get the pump up, and the breakout of the projected target of a broadening descending wedge is 40%. So I mean, if we come and back test it somewhere around this point in time, and then scroll up 40%, yeah, we're pretty high. That would be pretty intense. Pretty intense to say the least. I'm just trying to get this actually working. Yeah, it would take us pretty high. Obviously, this is a percentage. So I don't necessarily know how well a 40% means when it's not like a fight. It's a percentage on this. Maybe this is the move, and we're now coming back down. But what I would say, if we do get this head and shoulders, this pump down to this trend line, I would expect some sort of a serious bounce on this trend line. Whether it takes us all the way above and beyond, or whether it's just a bounce and we eventually come down and take it out. But yeah, that is long-term stuff anyway, so we'll keep an eye on that long-term stuff there. DXY doing potentially what we were talking about. We were talking about this. We're talking about how just every financial analysis was bearish of this. Everyone was saying dollar weakness, and that's just the clearest sign you'll ever get that we're going to have a retrace. My target pretty much is about 92. It's about 92. Around 92 is my target, and then, well, we need to see that rejected and come back down, otherwise we are going to be looking pretty dicey for everything, stock markets, Bitcoin, everything. Yeah, that is the DXY looked at. S&P futures, they are looking strong though, they're looking good. I've already explained how I believe that stocks are getting it wrong at the moment. I think stocks are potentially just factoring in the fact people are going to get some stimulus checks, but eventually they're going to have to factor in the fact they have a united basically House, Senate and White House presidency, all Democrat, all going to absolutely tax the living bejesus out of stocks, out of companies. So that is not good for stocks, and stocks clearly are rallying on stimulus, and they're not basically reacting yet to the huge tax hikes that they're going to have coming their way. I think this year 2001 will be a negative year for stocks. So and that's obviously a big call, because most years are positive years for stocks, but I think this could be I think this will be a negative year for stocks. So there we have it. Let's have a look at those stochastics. Obviously we knew 4 hour was coming down, looked like it was trying to turn up, but yeah, it came down. We did know the 10 hour and 12 hour were starting to point down. 10 hour is now lower than that level. 12 hour is not lower than this trend line, so we could get picked up here, stay jammed up here like we kind of did for a while here, and continue upwards. So that's not the worst read on the 12 hour. I mean, daily's still relatively up there. We could still get caught like we did here and continue upwards. 2 day pointing down, 3 day pointing down, 5 day pointing down, weekly pointing down. These are all pointing down now. Even monthly is finally starting to get a bit of a kink. So based on that read, if we did come down to 20k, it would not look like the most abnormal read in all fairness, with these turning over. I'm not saying we're going to collapse now in one go, but I'm saying we could trade sideways to down for quite a bit. Absolutely frustrate the living daylights out of especially the newcomers, especially the people that aren't used to crypto, aren't used to Bitcoin. So yeah, there we go, guys. So remember, this is not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I will speak to you guys later on today.